First house I ever bought, there was a homeless person that was living there for a while inside the house while I was living there.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, on these Wednesdays, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Todd?
I'm doing good. Well, this is being recorded a couple of days before Halloween, but it will be released a couple of days after Halloween. So hopefully everybody had a great Halloween. I'm sure a lot of you listening have kids or grandkids and got to see some costumes. And if you didn't, you probably had a kid or two knock on your door and got to see some fun costumes and give some candy away. So my son is dressing up as Luke Skywalker. My daughter is dressing up as a hockey player. And she's trying to convince me to dress up as a figure skater. She is a figure skater. And of course, I play hockey. And so she wants me to dress up as a figure skater. She wants to dress up as a hockey player. And so we can have some fun together. So
nice. You could be Will Ferrell from, what is it? Blades of Glory, I think the movie is called.
I've never seen it, but it sounds amazing. So.
It is. They had a foot race on ice skates on cement.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know. So if you see pictures of me wearing a pink tutu and what do you call those the tights, the leggings or whatever they call them.
Sure.
I don't know, not leggings, but whatever.
I don't know.
If you see me all dressed up in fancy clothes, just know it's for Halloween.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, with that, again, I know Halloween was just a couple days ago, but we wanted to tell some spooky stories for you. And some of these are kind of fun. And I've got one, Matt, that just recently happened. And this makes me so happy that I have property management. So we set up a contract with a plumbing company who their job is to come out. This is a property with older pipes, and we knew this going into it. This is part of our renovation budget, but they're coating and coating piping, and then there's a lot of piping that's just too bad, and they have to replace it. So they're digging up piping, and they dug up some piping and found out that they can't tie onto it. And they have to go all the way under the building and replace everything from, the toilet and the kitchen sink drain and the whole works all the way to the sewer, the main sewer line that connects to the city. And it's like, but we expected some of that to happen. And so I had to call our on-site leasing agent. I said, hey, here's what's happening. And it's unit 15. We're going to have to vacate that unit. There's somebody living in there. We're going to have to vacate that unit. Do we have a place to put them? So we figure that out. She gets them placed into another unit. And now we're busting up the concrete and completely redoing that. So little horror story, but not too bad. But in the meantime, she says, you'll never believe what I got to deal with. And because I'm like, that kind of a crappy thing to have to deal with, not part of the pun. And she says, well, remember those cockroaches that were in, this is a building, by the way, we just bought. We closed on what was it, September 15th. So we're still getting to know the residents. We're still trying to get in all the units. So one of the residents says they got cockroaches and they're not coming from them. They can't figure out where they're coming from, but they're not coming from them, which usually is not the case, right? So whatever, we're going to hire an exterminator, and the exterminator will come out and determine where they're coming from. And so it's 124 units, but each building has 4 units. Each specific building has 4 units. There's a lot of buildings that are kind of connected to each other, but each section is 4 units. And so the exterminator goes into her unit and then goes into these other units. And one of the units she walks in, or the exterminator walks into, this guy, this 80-plus-year-old guy who was living there, was a hoarder, and he had stuff piled up everywhere. But he clogged his toilet over a year ago. He didn't call maintenance, but instead, after he filled his toilet up, he started pooping in the bathtub, in the sink. He cut a hole in his couch and pooped inside his couch. He pooped on the ground and peed, poop and pee on the ground, all over the place.
Oh my
There's poop
God.
everywhere. Pooping in cups, pooping everywhere. He hasn't left his unit for, well, he said, I haven't left since Trump left office. That's what he said.
Oh.
Okay. Haven't you, gone to the doctor or anything like that? Well, my car won't start. I've tried to jump start it, but every time I try to start it, the alarm goes off. Haven't you reported this to anybody or whatever? No, how have you been eating? Well, he's got like hoarded ramen noodles and stuff like that. So he's been eating dry food for 2 years now. Those of you who can't see this, I mean, it's going to be tough to see no matter what, but I've got pictures. I got pictures that were sent to me. And this is amazing. Oh, that's one of our pools at one of our apartments.
Oh,
That disturbing.
Oh God.
I know a lot of you are just like listening to this, but this is, if you get onto YouTube, you'll see.
My God.
That's poop.
And there's a link to our YouTube video in the podcast notes as well. But those pictures, I can only imagine the smell, and I don't want to imagine it. But
I said to my on-site, I said, Jessica, how could you go in there and not throw up? She's like, oh my gosh, it was so gross. I'm like, I can't believe. And then you stood there and talked to the guy. Like, so she called, he's a vet. And so this is real. It's disgusting. It's a horror story, but it's super sad because this is an old guy. He's obviously got mental issues, I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to say exactly what's happening because I don't know, but something's going on, right? And maybe his mind is going, or I don't know. But either way, I feel bad. He's this 80-plus-year-old guy. He's a vet, so he served our country, and just like living in this horrible condition. Nobody's paid attention to him. Nobody's cared. I mean, why isn't his family? Where's his family through all this? Why wasn't the old owner there? This is a reason, Matt, we do safety checks, and we don't call them safety checks. We change our residents' furnace filters. And then when we're there, we walk through the unit, making sure smoke detectors have batteries in them and they're up, and making sure stuff like this isn't going on, because we can't allow that to happen. So called the VA, called social services, and trying to get him placed in a place that can actually service his needs, because he just can't live on his own if that's the way that a person's going to live. And I can't believe the neighbors didn't it smells like poop every time. I don't know how the neighbors didn't call. I don't know. And maybe they did, but again, we've owned this property for a very short period of time. And, when residents call and nobody takes them serious, they just stop calling. So who knows? Maybe they were calling the previous owner, and eventually they just stopped and they didn't call us because they've been used to it for so long. It's just been what it's at. But anyways, this guy was thankful. He was so happy we were helping him out, and So in the end, it's going to end up being a hopefully a good story or a positive outcome, or it will be, because he's going to get out of that situation. He said he hasn't showered in over a year.
Oh man.
Hasn't taken a shower in over a year. So
Yikes.
that's my spooky story of the
All right.
spooky story of the day. Do you have something to beat that, Matt?
Well, I've got a good one. It's maybe less gross, but first house I ever bought, there was a homeless person that was living there for a while inside the house while I was living there. And so
while you were living there?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the backdrop. It was a triplex, live-in triplex. So I lived in one unit, rented out the other two. Inside the front entrance of the building, there was like a little closet off the side, and so there were locks on the exterior doors of the house, and then a lock on the closet. Like I was just doing an inspection of the house one day and saw that like somebody had been living in that closet. Like there was like like stuff that I had not put there in there, and then like somebody had like a bedroll or whatever and other junk. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like what the heck. So I changed the locks, and but then they just kept on coming back. Like they must have been just picking the locks and coming after I went to sleep, and then leaving before I woke up. And like I even tried doing stuff to try to prevent them, and left a note like, please, like this is not a place. And it just took a while, but eventually they just moved on, I guess. But so I don't know who it was or whatever was going on, but.
Glad you were safe, right? I mean,
yeah,
you just never know with something like that. We had a property we purchased that the homeless people kept on breaking into. This was a property we were flipping, and we kept on calling the cops, and they're like, the guy's gone. They would take the stuff, and there was shoes and sleeping bags and stuff like that. The cops would take the stuff and move it, and then we would change the locks, and then they would get back in, secure all the windows, finally started boarding stuff. Still kept on getting back in every single time. And so finally the police said, hey, you guys are taking a lot of our time. We want to get this solved for you. Do you mind if we just leave a couple of our dogs in the house for a few nighs? I said, absolutely. So they left some of their police dogs in the house, and that solved the problem. No more homeless people coming. So that was a solution to the problem. I'm not sure that's traditional, like what a police officer would do, but this was a vacant house, and that's what they did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for support of like helping homeless people get back on their feet. There's a lot of mental health issues with that's forcing people to become homeless. So I'm all about the support that's out there, but I am not running a homeless shelter. Like,
right.
like
well,
okay.
And nor even if you're like, hey, I want to be nice and I don't want to kick these people out, that's not helping anybody, because you're not running a homeless shelter, nor are you qualified to do it. Right. And so that's not actually providing the right kind of help. That's just perpetuating the problem. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think I've told I've got other poop stories I've probably told before. But another homeless story, I don't know if I've told this on this podcast or not, but I'll tell it again, even if I have. This was a house that we were actually just going to view, and walk into the lower level, open that up. And as we were opening that up, all of a sudden this guy comes and walks out what I thought was the alley, comes walking out. Hey guys. Oh, hey, how's it going? Open the door, go in, and it smells like pizza, like a pizza had just been cooked. Like, that's really weird. It's a vacant property. It's a duplex, vacant. So anyways, walk around. It's like, yeah, somebody just cooked a pizza in here. Like the oven's still hot. Like you can just tell. And then we go at the back, and it's like, this is a parking lot. It's not an alley. It's a driveway. And the guy that was in there was probably the guy that cooked the pizza, the guy that was walking and said, "Hi guys," to us. So then we keep walking around looking, which is probably stupid. We probably should have just left. Go down to this basement and get down to the basement. And there is, I don't know how many needles, but I bet 500 needles. I mean, just needle after needle after needle. It was, maybe I'm being overselling it, but there was, I mean, you couldn't not step on them if you wanted to walk through that area. There was so many needles.
I'm guessing they weren't sewing needles.
They weren't sewing needles. No. I think you can get to what kind of needle they were. It was amazing. I don't know. It had to have been many people that were down there stabbing themselves with needles. I don't know. It couldn't have been just one person. I mean, there was so many needles. It was unreal. So walk down, get to the bottom of the stairs and then don't walk any further because it's just like, I don't want to step on one of these and have them go through my shoe.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, we got out of there, but that's, man, it just, some of the things that you see and actually in that same neighborhood, and this is not a horrible neighborhood. It's a Powderhorn neighborhood in Minneapolis. Not a horrible neighborhood, not an amazing neighborhood, but not a horrible neighborhood. But the house not too far away from there, we also walked into that, and it wasn't the same day or anything, but walked into that, and it was all dark, and there's probably, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe more women, all sitting on a couch or sitting on couches. They got, panties and bras on, and that's really it. And walk through there, and they're just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Just like cracked out. Keep on walking, and in the back room, there's a lady laying on the bed, completely naked, sprawled out. I mean, this is like middle of the day, like 2:00 in the afternoon. House is dark. All these ladies are just cracked out. It was the most bizarre and disgusting thing. And it's just like, man, these people, it's unbelievable how some, you see some amazing things, and not in a good way, amazing things, but obviously, they're probably all on drugs. But yeah.
Were they paying rent?
It was not a property I owned.
Oh, I see.
It was a short sale property. This is back in the foreclosure short sale heyday, So it was either a foreclosure or a short sale. I'm assuming because it was occupied, probably a short sale. But
yeah, I'm sure. Snap a few pictures around and then present your low offer to the bank. And here's what
I wasn't going to take any pictures, Matt.
Oh, okay.
I didn't need any. I didn't need my wife going, "Why do you have pictures of a bunch of cracked out, prostitutes on your phone?"
Oh, it's a business I'm thinking about buying.
Yeah, right. This is a business opportunity. They pay good rent and in cash.
Yeah, there you go. The cash is a little sweaty and other, whatnot. Anyway.
So those are my my Halloween horror stories. I got so many more, Matt. Like this, we could have Halloween horror stories every day.
I got one more. I think I've told this a while ago, but so same live-in triplex. The lady that lived on the 3rd floor at the time.
Same building, even.
Same building, yeah. That was.
Man.
It was in South Minneapolis, so right next to Powderhorn.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she disassembled. Like, she was complaining about everything all the time. Like whether she had something to complain about or not, she was complaining. And so she disassembled one of her windows and then was complaining that it wasn't working right. And so I was already bringing a plumber over to fix her toilet, and so I was like, okay, I can take care of that at the same time. Took a look at it, and I was like, what happened here? And she admitted that she had disassembled part of it, and I was like, well, why would you want me to reassemble it if you disassembled it yourself? And then so she got really upset, and then she was like, okay, now you're making me step outside onto the roof. Again, the roof was covered with snow. There's like a little bit of roof over by that window there. And so she did that and was like angrily like reassembling it and telling me like, oh, you forced me to do this. And I said, no, I didn't. I did not say step out on a snowy roof. Luckily, like I said, the plumber was there as a witness in case she fell and broke her neck. Like, I had nothing to do with that. I'm not at fault for any of that.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. We just got a letter from an attorney. A tenant hurt themselves on our steps. However, the date that they hurt themselves on was prior to us purchasing it. So we'll see how that goes. But it's just interesting. Like, there was a loose step, and we haven't fixed any steps. We were walking the building, by the way, before this date happened. We had it under contract, but we hadn't closed on it. And don't recall any loose steps, but so we just checked the stairs, just certainly there's no loose stairs. So you got to be careful. You never know. A tenant can easily say, hey, this is such and such happened, so making sure maintenance is being upkept and making sure you're covering your butt is important. Luckily, this happened, and it's on the old owner's watch, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, thankfully it's just a small percentage of residents who are like professional tenants and like really look for ways to take advantage of anywhere they live.
Well, these attorneys know, like, you got insurance. Your insurance company, because most of the time what will happen is, even if this lawsuit is happening, even if the tenant has nothing on you, right? Unless it's like super blatantly obvious. But if the tenant has nothing on you, a lot of times the insurance companies, even if there's a small chance that something was done wrong, the insurance company will oftentimes just settle it right outside of court. And so they'll award them money just for writing that letter. And a lot of times, the tenant's not going to end up getting much money, if any. It'll just go right to the attorney. Mm. But so the attorneys know, they're smart. If they got any chance of getting some money, they're gonna go ahead and do it.
Yep, but then it'll certainly cost you because your insurance rates will go up, and
insurance rates will go up. Yeah, depending on what it is, but yeah, your insurance rates go up. Well, happily, again, we hadn't closed on the property yet, so it should be not on our liability at all. But anyways, all right, Matt. Like I said, I could keep on telling story after story after story. I got so many fun ones, but maybe next Halloween we'll tell a couple more.
Yeah, and for our listeners out there, if you want to comment on our YouTube or Facebook page of what your own spooky stories are, we'd love to hear them.
I would love to hear some more spooky stories. Maybe we can read a couple the next one if we get a couple of people telling us some spooky stories. All right, Matt, you have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day Saturday.
Thanks. You as well.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.